You're listening to The Manning Report with your host, James David Manning. The news behind the headlines.
So today I want to deal with the issue of Tribulation Trump doubling down on collusion. This boy is crazy. But Mr. Engineer, I think we have a clip where Trump is talking to George Stephanopoulos, right? Saying that, you know, a whole lot of business about if foreign agents of Russia or somebody offers you something, he said he'd take it. Roll that clip. I think it's clip number 1, Mr. Engineer. Roll that.
This time around, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
Do you want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it. If I thought there was something wrong, I'd go maybe to the FBI if I thought there was something wrong. But when somebody comes up with ATLAH research, right? They come up with ATLAH research. Oh, let's call the FBI. The FBI doesn't have enough agents to take care of it. But you go and talk honestly to congressmen. They all do it. They always have. And that's the way it is. It's called ATLAH research.
You know, my mama told me something many years ago. She said, all thieves think everybody else steals. All liars think everybody else lies. It's not true, but they think that. It's a part of their DNA. Trump said everybody's doing it. Everybody's not doing it. Everybody's not doing it. You know, they just aren't. People aren't taking information from foreign sources. But he's doubling down and saying that he would do it. Well, we know he took it in the first time. So I think he realized this is probably going to show up at some point in time. And as an actual stomped down fact, in some of the hearings that will be held by the judiciary, the Democrat-led Congress. And so I don't know if he's prepared. Or he's just saying what the heck he wants to say because he figures nobody can do anything to stop him. But I want, Mr. Engineer, but I want to go back to that clip where he's sitting out there in the yard now with Stephanopoulos, and he looks like he's sitting on a toilet stool, if you ask me. But that's probably a little bit gross, everybody. But please excuse. But I got to tell it like it is. Though he looks like he's sitting on a toilet. Yeah, I'm sorry if it offends you. And look at this. Why is his face so red? Roll that clip, Mr. Engineer. Leave my mic open. Why is his face so red? You know, Trump's head. He got a big head and little hands, but you know, he has to have a hairstylist. He gets up in the morning, an hour getting that hair styled, and then you got to put hairspray on it, and then put that, hairspray like wax, so the hair won't move. Sometimes the wind causes it that pompadour to flop up and back and forth. But Mr. Engineer Roller, so he said, I read his face. He also has a tanning machine, right? Remember the big deal was when Trump moved into the White House that he didn't want anybody to know he was moving a tanning machine. Where he gets in that tanning machine, and it was parked outside of one of the offices, and somebody gave a report on it, and Trump fired him for saying he has a tanning machine. But he has a tanning machine because Trump want to look like me. Look at me. Like I said, Trump want to be my color. See how good looking I am? Look at me. Look at the camera. Look at me. Trump want to be my. See, look at I'm a tease and tan. Look at that. Trump wants to be like, he wants to be my color. But go ahead, Mr. Engineer, roll up that clip again, and look how red it looked like. He looked like he looked like somebody got burned in the oven or something. He must have got stuck in a tanning machine. Roll that clip.
Interview, you didn't answer questions on obstruction.
No, wait a minute. I did answer questions. I answered them in writing.
Not on
I don't know about
obstruction.
those. I don't know. I answered a lot of questions. They gave me questions.
I think he has to wear goggles or something, because look at his eyes.
Look, George, you're being a little
it's whiter than
typical for
Mr.
you.
Tucker down at Mr. Owens down in North Carolina. Look how white is underneath his eyes. It's white. The rest of his face is red, right? Look at my eyes. All my skin is all one color. That boy's skin is his eyes. You want to see what Trump's real complexion is? Mr. Engineer, roll that one more time. Say, Pastor Manny, what's it got to do with that? That's very important. I think it's very, very important. You can see what color his face really is, right? Because his eyes, underneath his eyes, where he has to wear those goggles when he get in that tanning machine. When Trump get in that tanning machine, right? And so finally, I look at his face is red. I think Trump has finally become a redneck. I swear. I think he has finally made it. Look how red he is. But look at it, right underneath his eyes is white. Now that's the color he really is. If he didn't have that tanning machine, his face would be as pale as Joe Biden. No, look at him. Look at him. He used that tanning machine. So to get Trump ready for the day, he got to comb his, he got to brush his hair, he got to get somebody, got a hairdresser in there. And anyway, so the point of this, however, is that Trump is saying that he would, everybody's seen this, so I figured I didn't have a chance to go over this, and I thought that I would, so I'm up to snuff on what's happening here. Now, also, he insults George Stephanopoulos. He calls Stephanopoulos a little wise guy. Mr. Engineer, I don't know what clip that is now because I'm a little confused on the clips, but I think you know. He calls George Stephanopoulos, you little wise guy, shut up before I slap you into the middle of next week so you can collect your paycheck early. Roll that from ABC. Roll it, Mr. Engineer.
Interview, you didn't answer questions on obstruction.
No, wait a minute. I did answer questions. I answered them in writing.
Not on
I don't know about
obstruction.
those. I don't know. I answered a lot of questions. They gave me questions. I answered them in writing.
Not an obstruction.
Look, George, you're being a little wise guy, okay? Which is, typical for you. Just so you understand. Very simple. It's very simple.
This guy, he just insults anybody at any time at will. But then he calls into Trump TV, which is Fox News, right? He calls into Fox News the morning after that because he realized somebody must have told him, Trump, that interview with George Stephanopoulos is a death knell because you've actually committed to breaking the law. You've actually, and as the President of the United States of America, you've told other nations that you're open for business for them feeding you information. And then you went out and said the FBI was wrong, that this FBI leader, Director McCabe was wrong. This was, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what is going on with him. I think he's deranged. So somebody told him, and he called into Fox and Friends, these three idiots, and he talks for 55 minutes. They got an hour program, right? He talks for 55 minutes. He just rambles on, and that gangster, that mobster, Don Corleone kind of language that he uses. He's getting worse at that as it goes along. But now he tries to walk back what he said. Mr. Engineer, roll that clip number. I think it's clip number 3.
First of all, I don't think anybody would present me with anything bad because they know how much I love this country. Nobody's going to present me with anything bad. Number two, if I was, and of course you have to look at it because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you'd give it to the FBI or report it to the Attorney General or somebody like that.
Okay, all right. Mr. Engineer, I'm going to ask you to roll that clip back one more time because I want to look at Steve Ducey and Brian Kilmeade, or whatever his name is, and then the woman, I don't know what her name is, and she's wiggling and she's all uncomfortable. But Steve Ducey, like he said, something stinks. I can smell something. It's Trump's bad breath. That smell. Look at Brian Kilmeade. Look, I'm not Brian, but look at Steve Ducey. He's a guy with a striped tie and the glasses on. His name is Steve Ducey, right? Look at him. Looks like he says something stinks about this. Roll it one more time, Mr. Engineer. Well, go ahead.
First of all, I don't think anybody would present me with anything bad because they know how much I love
she's
this
getting
country.
uncomfortable.
Nobody's going to present me with anything bad. Number two, if I was, and of course you have to look at it because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you'd give it to the FBI or report it to the Attorney General or somebody.
The gangster criminal president.
Like
We've never really, there's never been anything like this before in terms of, he's gangster, he's criminal, he's off the charts, and then he's got these other folk that I did a piece on as well that, Fox News is supporting all of his lunacy. This is a bit of a news blog we do looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.